So, I don't know why I'm making this video, considering Suzaku Unreal is like not gonna exist at some point, but I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of bored, and I figured, you know what, I kind of feel like making a video about this, so, um, I'm gonna, this isn't really a guide, I guess, of the Suzaku fight, necessarily, but I guess it's more of just, like, me, uh, talking about, like, ways you can optimize your DPS on Black Mage during the fight. So, like this, I assume that if you're watching this, you kind of already know how the fight goes. So I'm not really gonna go too in depth about how to do like mechanics, but I will talk about positioning for certain mechanics, I guess. But this also, I guess I should also say that this, I assume that you kind of know the black mage rotation already, but I guess I should go over it, just in case. But let me start in ice. Let me start in ice, but with a fire 3 proc, I guess. Uh, Actually, I probably didn't have to do this, but um, anyway, let's say you're in ice or whatever, and so if you need to refresh your Thunder 3 and then Paradox, and this part's kind of important. Um, Nowadays, there's no reason not to use Transpose in the Fire 3 since you get the proc 100% now when you use Paradox in Astral Fire. So there's literally no reason not to transpose into this. But if you don't have this proc for whatever reason, like you messed up or whatever, then you gotta hard cast it, I guess. But um, anyway, yeah, you do that. You transpose into Fire 3, and then the Astral Fire phase is literally just spamming Fire 4. Um, use thunder, high thunder, whenever you need to refresh it, I guess. And once you have all of these, I don't know what you call them, I don't know. But once you have them, you flare star, and then you do paradox. So if you have a fire 3 proc already, before you use paradox, use it first and then paradox, because otherwise you're kind of wasting that proc. But um, after that, normally, well, actually, I should probably, well, we'll talk about that later, actually. But normally, I think I see most people, after they use Despair, I see most people just hard casting Blizzard 3. And I mean, you can do that, that's fine, but if you want to get a little bit more damage, you can actually just transpose Swift Cast or Triple Cast into Blizzard 3. That gives you a little bit more damage, and it actually adds up quite a lot in the long run. So I literally, whenever I'm switching phases, I never hard cast Fire 3 or Blizzard 3. I always am using Transpose to change stances. So, and if I don't have Swift Cast, then I will just use Triple Cast. Because, I mean, either way, as long as you're gonna instant cast the Blizzard 3, then it's a damage. It's like a little damage increase. So, but yeah, I mean that's like advanced Black Mage crap. So if you don't care about that, or if you don't feel like changing your rotation to fit that in, then it's fine. Honestly, your DPS will still be good as long as you're like playing the game correctly, I guess. But anyway, that's like Black Mage rotation in a nutshell, kind of. Um, okay, I'll talk about the opener of this fight, because the opener is different than what you'd have in a normal fight. Let me reset everything. Oh, let me change green. Okay. So normally I think the rotation is kind of like, here, let's do a countdown. 10 seconds, because we don't have a dancer. Although I don't even know if dancers need like 16 seconds anymore. I don't know. I don't play that class. But anyway, So you use Fire 3 at around like 3 point, I don't know, 5 or whatever seconds. And normally the rotation kind of goes like this. The opener is like you precast Fire 3, go into High Thunder, Swift Cast, Amplifier, Fire 4, and then you hardcast Fire 4 into Xenoglossy, and then you ley lines, and then you do all this crap and shit. But I think anyway. But this fight's opener is gonna be a little different. I don't think I need all of my buttons to show this, so I'm not gonna bother waiting to get my things back. But so this opener, it's so you're not gonna use your ley lines. Also, you pot too. Usually, you would pot at the start. I think you want to pot after you swift cast into Fire 4. I think that's how that works. But since Suzaku jumps at the start, you don't want to use your ley lines, and you don't want to pot because you're kind of wasting them. So instead, here I'll kind of demonstrate what I do. Well, let me do the countdown first, I guess. I don't have amplifier actually, but in fact, let me pause real quick, and I'll get my amplifier back, and then I'll show the opener. Okay, so we have amplifier back now. And here's how I personally do the opener for Suzaku. Let me see the countdown. Can't forget about the countdown. It's like the most important part. Actually, I'll talk about if people early pull as well, because that can happen sometimes. So you still want to do amplifier and swiftcast, but instead of using ley lines, I use triple cast and Addle. I use Addle because she does the raid wide, and it lasts for like 15 seconds, so you have plenty of time to use it. But yeah, so I just like the triple cast because I mean I don't see a reason not to use it right at the start. And after that, you can kind of do your normal rotation, and so if someone doesn't early pull, you should be able to like cast Fire 4. So after you cast Despair, you should be able to do Mana Font into one Fire 4. You should be able to do that if nobody early pulls. If somebody early pulls, instead of using Fire 4 after the Mana Font, you can use Xenoglossy, I guess, or you can Paradox. I don't really know if it really matters what you do, but in just one instant cast, because if someone early pulls and you try to Fire 4, it's probably not going to go out. So I personally don't even risk it. If someone early pulls, I just hit one of my instant casts, and I'm just like, all right, we'll go with that. And then that's like basically it for the opener. So after the opener, Suzaku will fall down again. Now this is when you ley lines. So I always have the main tank focus targeted. You don't have to do this, I guess, but I just do it because it's easiest for me. So I have the main tank focus targeted, and then I use the teleport to them right before she falls. After the AoEs go off, and before she falls is when I use this. And I do this because I like to put my ley lines right on top of her, because she does like the cleave, like the huge ass fucking annoying cleave. So if I'm on top of her with my ley lines, I can move out of it a lot easier, and I can also like position myself away from the party in case she targets me. So it's kind of helpful in that regard. So I like doing that. Some people also like to pot when she falls. Personally, I don't do this, and I'll say why I don't do this later, but you can if you want to. I would say there's a better time to use it, but really, I guess it's kind of up to you, but for optimizing purposes, save it. Um, so after that, you kind of just cast crap. She does the tank buster, I guess. And then she spawns the feathers. And this part's kind of important, I guess. Oh yeah, I didn't say this before, but I will actually be doing a run after I talk about this, so I can kind of like show what the fight will look like in action. But anyway, she drops the feathers, and thankfully it doesn't really matter where you are. Like it doesn't matter what position you're in. You'll like you'll have a pretty good spot to put ley lines down. So I mean the birds and the feathers can kind of, or the feathers can kind of appear in two different patterns. One of the patterns is there will be like a feather. Like let me see if I can do this. So like let's say this is a bird, and then like this is a feather. So like the feather will be like kind of like this. That's pretty easy. You can just put your ley lines like right here. So you'll be in between the feather. You can kill the feather, and then you'll be able to just sit here while you respawn the bird. And I guess sometimes it can also like be like diagonal a little bit, which is kind of weird, kind of like this, I guess. And I mean, you can still, it's still like the same thing. You just put your ley lines like in between the bird and the feather, and you should be able to safely like just sit there for that entire mechanic. Now this part's kind of important. After the feather drops, I actually don't immediately go to the feather. At this point, I'm still like, I'm like just getting into my Umbral Ice again. So I still have like a Polyglot to use. I still have Paradox to use. I still have to refresh High Thunder. So I do all of that first. And I'm targeting Suzaku still. So I use all of those buttons on Suzaku, and then after I use those, then I transpose into the Fire 3 proc. I use that on the feather, and then I like triple cast and then start killing the feather. You don't have to like, if the feather has like a little bit of HP left, you could just let your healer kill the rest of it. Or whatever support you're with, I guess. Technically you don't have to be with the healer, but you can do that. If it gets too close, then I guess you should hit it, but I like to get the feather down to an HP that's like comfortable enough that the healer can kill it by themselves, and so I can start targeting Suzaku instead. Targeting Suzaku during this phase, I think, is really important as a DPS in general, but especially if you're like a caster or ranged, because there's going to be like a little bit of downtime after you destroy the feather. And then when the bird spawns, you don't actually have to kill the bird as soon as it appears. In fact, I would say you shouldn't do that, just because if you kill it too early, then it can still respawn from the AoEs that are like still going off. So I actually like to wait until the AoEs explode, and that's kind of when I like while the AoEs are like still charging up, they're casting. I'm targeting Suzaku still with crap, and after the AoEs go off, that's when I start targeting the bird. And honestly, I don't know if I should do this, because I feel like I could be using these buttons on Suzaku instead, but I end up using Paradox and Despair on the bird typically, just because those are instant casts and they're hard hitting, so the bird kind of dies really quickly. But I guess even if you don't do that, you probably still have plenty of time to kill the bird, but you don't want to be on the bird too long because you really want to go back to DPSing Suzaku. But that's pretty much how that mechanic goes. And then before the transition, there's a couple of stuff I guess not really that important, but you have a little bit of time to hard cast Fire 4s. Um, you want to make sure, I guess this is kind of important actually, you want to make sure that you have no polyglot charges when the when she like is untargetable. If you have one, then you're most likely gonna lose a charge basically because you're wasting a charge because you're gonna go over three, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure your polyglots are empty before she switches. I would say that's the biggest priority. I was told that right before she jumps, like right before she becomes untargetable, if you put a dot on her, like if she still has a dot before she jumps, it still ticks and she still takes damage. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm gonna take their word for it and assume that it's true. So also refresh your High Thunder. Also make sure that you have a make sure that you have a Fire 3 proc ready. I would say this is more important than refreshing the High Thunder, but I also don't know. I'm not really a number cruncher, so I don't know what's more important. But ideally, you would want to be able to press all of those buttons at some point, and also despair. When she jumps to the middle of the stage, you have a chance to at least cast 3 instant casts, so that should be your Paradox, your Despair, and your High Thunder. You want to use your Polyglot a little earlier than this, I would say, so you can fit the other buttons in. But then after that, she does, you do the DDR crap, and then the phase transition, which is, I feel like this is like one of the most important parts of the fight DPS wise for Black Mage. This is where I pot, because if you did everything properly, you pressed your amplifier right before, as soon as it gets ready, because by the time it's ready again, you should be like it should be right before the DDR. But assuming you did everything correctly, you should have 3 charges plus another one about to come in, like it'll be like around here. So you really want to be quick when you do this, but and you want to time it properly too. You don't want to use your pot too early because then you're wasting a couple seconds on your pot, which is not good. And you don't want to use it too late because then it becomes kind of like awkward trying to like pot, like you want to weave your pot in, I think, or not weave your pot in. You want to use it early so you can use a Xenoglossy as soon as she becomes targetable. I think that's just the best way to do it because you can get 4 of these in, and then you can also get a High Thunder within your pot, which is cool. Also, you would be in ice phase during this, but let me actually try to demonstrate what that would look like. I'm not gonna waste one of my actual pots. Let's just assume that I already used this. I don't know, whatever. So I'm gonna wait for this to get around here, and then I'm gonna use a pot, a fake pot. Don't tell anyone. And I'll kind of demonstrate what I do for this. Okay, so it's gonna be like let's say it's like right here. So I do this. I lay lines, then I High Thunder into Addle, and then I just keep doing this. After this Xenoglossy, I use Triple Cast into Paradox, into Transpose, into Fire 3 proc, and then I play the game. I'll kind of explain that a little bit. I like to use Triple Cast after the last Xenoglossy. You could probably do it on the 3rd one instead of the last one, but I just do it on the last one because I feel like it's easier for me. But you could try doing it on the 3rd one too. You probably would still have time to use all 3 of the charges. But I think it's good to use it here so that you can start the cooldown on it quicker, so you can get it back quicker, basically. Um, so yeah, you do that, and then you do the paradox into the transpose into the 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 regular black mage shenanigans. Also, I guess I'll talk about this too because it's kind of important, I guess. Um, okay, so when she changes when she transitions, you're gonna be in your ley line, so she's gonna use mesmerizing whatever, or she's gonna do the drawing or the pushback. You want to make sure you surecast here. I would say that's like a must, just so you can stay in your ley lines. Because otherwise, you're not gonna stay in your ley lines. You're gonna be kind of sad. So you don't want to be sad. You want to be happy, and you want to stay in your ley lines. So use surecast. It's such an important button in this fight. I swear. But yeah. Okay, what happens after that? Let me think. She does the Well of Flames, I think, which is, like, in my opinion, the most annoying mechanic to deal with on Black Mage. And then the Tank Buster. And then that's when the four squadrons show up, the four squares. So this mechanic, I guess to some people it could be kind of hard. It's really not that bad on Black Mage, but it does kind of depend on you moving quick enough. There are a few ways to do these mechanics. So there's two different patterns that the four squares will like show up as, I guess. And I'm not gonna go too in depth about on this mechanic because this is not really a guide of the fight. But there's one pattern is like I call it Simon Says because it's basically just like the same pattern twice. So you'll have like oh, this is gonna be kind of weird. Let me do this. So like let's say one is black, four is purple, two is yellow. So let's say that like the Simon Says pattern is gonna be something like I don't know. It's gonna do like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it's kind of going to go in a circle basically. So you could just like let's say it's gonna explode on yellow first and then it's gonna go to blue. You could start at black and then go into 2 when that explodes. I see people kind of go in a circle. I don't do this personally because it's too much movement for me. But that's a good way to do the mechanic if you're kind of slow with resolving it, or if your ping is bad or whatever. But I tend to stay in between blue and yellow just because I'm kind of already there anyway usually. And if I see that yellow's gonna explode first, I stay on blue, and then when yellow explodes, I move onto yellow. And then when blue explodes, I move back, because then yellow's gonna explode after it anyway. And then whenever whenever that goes off again, then you go into it. Oh yeah. Also, if you have your ley lines ready during this, make sure your ley lines are in between both of the squares, so that you can move in between move within your ley lines. But if you have to move and you don't feel comfortable doing like the slide cast crap, you can always just use an instant cast. I would say if you don't have to refresh your High Thunder, don't use High Thunder. If you can help it, use something else. But like if you're not comfortable doing like the slide cast stuff, it's kind of tough to do. So I can understand that. Just use an instant cast instead. Come on, give me it. But yeah, the other pattern is like just like a mirror pattern, which is a lot easier to dodge, and I'm not gonna go too much into it. But basically, like I don't know, let's say it starts with like yellow, and it's like yellow, purple, black, blue, blue. Once you can stay in blue and then go into yellow after it explodes, and then once blue goes off twice, you can go into blue. Like it's super that one's a lot easier. But yeah, that mechanic is, I would say it just kind of takes practice, but it's not that hard to do on Black Mage, thankfully. So I mean, it gets a little bit more complicated later on, of course, but that's kind of like the fundamentals for that mechanic. For me, I just stay in between two squares, usually yellow and blue, and I just kind of move in between them whenever they go off. So yeah, it's that mechanic. What's after that? I think that's close quarter crescendo, the mechanic that forces you to move. Thankfully, Black Mage doesn't struggle with this mechanic too much. Apparently other DPS kind of have issues with this mechanic because it's like in the middle of their burst window, but thankfully Black Mage doesn't have to worry about it too much. At this point, at least for me, my mana font is typically ready, so let me actually just get into a position where I'm ready to use it, and I could actually talk about something cool, I guess. It's not really that interesting, but it's like a small optimization you can do, I guess. So, close quarter crescendo is about to start soon. So, you want to get your instant cast out first. And the reason why I say this is because you're gonna have, if you have mana font ready, you want to use your instant cast first. And here's why. So I'll use Paradox, and I'm gonna use Despair. This is when I use mana font. And if close quarter crescendo hasn't gone off yet, I'll use Xenoglossy, and then it should have gone off by now. And then we'll be moving, I'll be moving, oh my god. And as soon as you stop moving, as soon as you're able to hit a button again, you want to be mashing Fire 3. That's what I do. I am mashing Fire 3. So I mash that, and I move into position for the next mechanic. You can also swift cast. After you use Fire 3, you can weave swift cast, and I do this sometimes. Yeah, so you can instant cast Flare Star. You want to use Flare Star though. Like, I would say you wanna use it before you do anything else, just because you might forget and you might just start using Fire 4, which you don't want to do. So, yeah, after you use your Flare Star, then you can Fire 4 all you want, and then you'll be able to do it again, because Mana Font's just really cool like that. It's kind of crazy how they changed it, to be honest. I didn't expect them to change it the way that they did, but they did. So that's cool, I guess. And that's basically that mechanic. What happens after that? I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Fucking... I didn't mean to press that. I think after that, you do another four square mechanic. That one has a knockback or a draw in. So, you can surecast here. I think I do it sometimes. If I have my instant cast and I don't use it, but if you want to use it just because you're afraid, you can. I don't think there's anything wrong with just using it here. I would say that's up to you. And then after the first pattern goes off, she does the raid wide. So if you can use an instant cast into Addle, that would be nice. You don't really have to, but I think using Addle is useful, so why not? And then after that, you go into the towers. And the towers, so by now, if you used your pot after DDR during the phase transition, or, you know, at the phase transition, I guess, your pot should be up by now, or it should like almost be ready during the towers. So you can actually just use your pot during the towers. You should have it. I should say this too. You should save your polyglots. Use them sparingly because I would say it's nice to save them up so that you can use it during your pot window. So if you have like 2 or 3 ready, then you can just freaking I don't know use like usually I'm in ice phase when this happens. So like I don't know like either refresh if I need to, I'll refresh my thunder if I need to, or I'll use freaking paradox and then I'll pot and then I'll just freaking let it go, I'll let it rip, and then you play the game like normally. That mechanic really isn't hard as long as everyone does the mechanic correctly. I don't use Surecast here like ever because I mean one sometimes I don't have it up, and also like I'm using instant cast, so there's literally no reason for me to use Surecast for the tower mechanic. So yeah, just use your instant cast, and then after that you have time to use your buttons during your pot. And then after that, that's when you have the I think it's the final four square mechanic again. This time there's only 4 that go off instead of 8. But there's like a bunch of mechanics that happen in between them, so it's a little confusing. I think the only one that I really need to talk about though is the close quarter crescendo. I think it's actually basically resolved the same way that the first one is, like in terms of your rotation, it should be about the same. Just make sure you're standing in like a good spot. Like let's say I'll do this again. Again, I shouldn't really need to be explaining the mechanic, but I'll do it anyway, just because. Can I put this down, please? Thank you. Like I don't know. Let's say like freaking yellow and how does it go usually? Yellow and purple are gonna go off first. Yeah, let's say yellow and purple are gonna go off first, and then blue and black are the second ones to go. You want to stand in like either blue or black, depending on which way your arrow is facing, and then you'll be pushed into like you'll be pushed into a spot that just went off, and you won't get hit, and you won't have to scream or die. So you'll be good. So that's kind of how that mechanic goes with that. It's basically the same as the first one, except like one extra step. And then after this, I think it's after this, there is another push back or draw in. I think you should have Surecast up by now. If you don't, then you're just gonna have to pay attention. But after that, that's basically like we're at the end of the fight at this point. You're not gonna have any more pots that are ready before she does the enrage, so like you can just press whatever buttons you have. She'll do 1 pushback or draw in, and then she does the tank buster shit and all of that. She does a few mechanics before she will do the second knockback or draw in. During the second knockback or draw in, you should have a ley lines ready, but I would say don't use it right when you get it back, because if you use Surecast earlier, you won't have it back in time. It'll have like 2 or 3 seconds left. It's not worth it. So you're not gonna have it back. So I would wait to ley lines, because you'll have plenty of time to use it still. Or wait to ley lines until after that mechanic resolves, and then you can ley lines, which by the way, during the draw-ins, make sure, if you can't Surecast it, make sure you have instant cast so you're still pressing buttons. Because if you don't have an instant cast, trying to cast something when she does it's going to probably interrupt you. So use your instant cast. And after she does it, you can ley lines, and then that'll be the end of the fight. It'll be the enrage soon after that. So if your DPS is like, let's say she has like, I don't know, like 19% health or lower than that, right after the final 4 squares, you're probably gonna clear. You'll probably be good. But if her HP is higher than that, if her HP is a little higher than that, it's gonna be a little tough. You might not clear if it's like at 22%. You might not make it. Maybe you might. It's gonna be it'll be tough. So that's kind of why it's important to make sure that you, as a black mage, and I mean any DPS, but black mage specifically, you're kind of pressing the buttons that you need to press. Having a lot of DPS, having really good DPS really helps with this fight, because honestly this fight is kind of tight when it comes to the enrage check, DPS check, whatever you want to call it. It's tight. It's a lot tighter than the Byakko Unreal, so having like even just 2 people who have really good DPS matters a lot. So if you're doing your part, then it could help. But I think that's basically everything. This was a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I mean talking takes a while, I guess. And I'll look for a party so I can like do an actual run, because explaining it not in the fight is not exactly super helpful. So actually being able to see what's happening and see what I'm doing is, I would say, helpful. So I'll pause and I'll look for a party to do this with. Okay, so we finally have a party. I'm not gonna talk too much in this. I'm gonna try not to, because I would like to focus, make sure that I actually am playing the game properly. But if I point out, if something happens, I'll try to point it out, I guess. But like I said before, whenever we decide who the main tank's gonna be, I will focus target the main tank. Okay, looks like the Dark Knight's gonna do it. Where are we gonna go? We have 3 melee, or we have 3 range. I don't really mind being fake melee, so I can be fake melee. I don't really care. What is this? Okay. So I'll be in melee 2 spot. That's fine. I don't mind. Hopefully we know what we're doing. I also sprint. You don't really have to do this on this fight, but I do it just out of force of habit, I guess. But anyway, here's the pull. We might clear, we might not clear. Either way, it's just for practice, so I don't really care either way. So I'm gonna stand around the position that I'm supposed to be in for the birds, just so I remember where I'm supposed to be. And here's the heart cast fire 4. And it did go off, which is nice. And now I'm gonna go to the tank and ley lines, just like that. So here, she's gonna jump to the middle soon, so I'm gonna make sure I press these buttons. I think I screwed up a little bit, but it's fine. I don't know what button I missed, but anyway, I got my polyglots out, and I got my my thunder. So also, amplifier is gonna come back before this, so remember to press that button. If you forget, it's gonna suck a little bit. Also, this kind of goes without saying, but make sure you don't screw this up if you're trying to get a good, you're trying to get good DPS, because you do these do give you damage ups if you hit them. I'm using the standard movement, whatever it's called. Legacy is probably best for this because you have a little bit, it's easier to react to. But I just use standard for, I use it for PvP reasons mostly. Anyway, here's the pot moment that I was talking about before. I'm gonna have to move also because I'm not in a great spot. But I have to remember that I am also in the yellow BM2 spot. There's the draw in. Oh, Viper fell off, but that's okay. And this is basically where I'm going to stand. I forgot to recharge my musket. This is basically where I'm going to stand for most of the fight until the towers appear.
Hearken to my melody.
Hopefully I didn't just screw up. I think I'm fine. I do need to refresh my thunder though. Probably should not have used my polyglot there. I should have used paradox instead, but it's fine. I'm gonna just make sure not to use too many. I guess this, oh, I can. I went a little over on my triple cast also, but that's fine. I didn't realize too much. This is far from a perfect run, I think. Uh-oh.
Hearken to my melody.
There's another draw in. The shoot cast here. I won't be able to add him here, unfortunately. I would rather prioritize my rotation here. Towers are gonna come up pretty soon. Oh, I should not have used Flare Sailor, but that's okay. B, please. Thank you. Oh, this is another time that I could have addled, but unfortunately I won't be able to. Sometimes you can't do it, and that's fine. So my pot will be coming up soon also, which is nice. I don't know if I need to use that or not, but I just to be safe. I think I missed a oh, I was almost in the wrong spot, but we got it. I think I missed a fire 3 usage, but that's okay. So I'm gonna pot here. I could have potted a little earlier, but I was talking.
Hearken to my melody.
Yeah, and you want to use your Xenoglossies after you pot. I had 2, which was fine, good enough. Oh, that sucks. I could have honestly, I could have just kept casting, but just to be safe, I'm gonna move. That one's tough for me. It's really RNG, unfortunately.
Do not fight it, my love. Let me into your heart.
So here we're gonna either stand in blue or black. Looks like we're gonna stand in blue. I don't know if using this is a good idea or not, my triple cast, but let's see. I think I have time to use it, so it's fine. I have time to use the last charge. Now I'm gonna go back over here, so I can use my ley lines, and I can sure cast here. And yellow's gonna go off first. I'm gonna use my, there we go. I'm gonna not use my, Swift cast here, I don't need to. Don't forget to use your fire 3s. Don't forget. Very important. Oops, I should not have done that, but that's okay. So we're basically like at the end of the fight now. This is pretty good run, I would say. I can add here, thankfully. Okay, she's gonna do the knockback. So the next time she does that, I don't even know if we're gonna get to it. We might not, but if we get to it, I will have ley lines ready, and I will not use it immediately. But I don't know if we're even gonna get it because our DPS is pretty good. We'll see. I think we'll still get to it. Maybe, yeah. I should have triple cast, but that's okay. I can do it now. See, my ley lines is ready, but we're not going to use it quite yet. We're going to wait. Because my shirt cast is not ready. Now I'll use it. And I mean, the melee can help, yeah. Because we're not going to get OB2. I'm not going to refresh my my thunder either. We're at the end, so yeah. And that's like how a good run looks like. I mean, I didn't play perfectly, but that's basically how a good run looks like. This is a Tele-Am retail, but I don't think I need to show the second run. I mean, that was already, honestly, I was surprised how good that run went. So I think I could probably just end it there. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna ever make a video like this again. Probably not. But it was something to do. It was kind of fun, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's it.